Oh. Let's not destroy the studio before I even said a word. Hold up. Hello? What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? Hello, hello, hello. Hearts out to y'all. Say hello if you're in the chat. Okay. Give me a second to turn down the music a bit. Alright, I hope you're all having a nice evening. We're not doing anything quite yet, but we will be. So welcome to the bootcamp, everybody. For the people that are new, I'll be doing a bootcamp tonight, 1.5 hours from the beginning till the end. You don't need any prior experience, and you can ask any and all questions you want. So my name is Ono, and I'm a student here at CADA. CADA right there, and I'll be your instructor. And if you need anything from me at all today, just ask in the chat. That's why we're doing it live, right? I'll answer if you have any questions about the school or 3D or whatever. I'm more than happy to help you out as much as I can. Yeah, and if you are not sure, today is gonna be texturing. So, what's up, everybody? Jaegers, Clarissa, Katrin, hello, Idevit, Govert. Okay, some new faces today. I'm happy to see it. Don't worry if you're completely new as well. So, I'll take you through all of it, and I hope you can learn something. Goal of today is basically just to give you all an introduction, right? And then after the stream, you can keep working on all your projects as much as you want. So last time we did a 3D model, and today we're going to be doing the texturing part of it. And if you did not join last time, that is also okay, because we have the model in the description of the video, so you can download it. And I'll go ahead and open it up too. So let's get into it. And yep. What up, Rena Saur? If you do have a tablet, like someone asked in the chat, now would be a good time to get it out. I'll be getting mine out too. It's really fun to do this with a tablet because you get the pressure sensitivity and all that. Okay, so boot up Blender, let's get into it. I'll be getting into mine as well. Okay, give it a sec to boot up. How are you all doing, by the way? You guys excited for today? Is there a lot of people in the chat that have never done this before? Let me know, and I can kind of gauge what people need and want. Okay. So if you've never done any of this before, let me know in the chat, type it out. Complete newbie, that is okay. Alright, cool to see it. Excited to get people into this. 2 fresh students. What's up, KG Tavern? Alright, so for the people that know about Blender and all that, just feel free to like skip a little bit ahead. Okay, that's fine. I'll be taking the new students through everything from the basics. And then, so give me a couple minutes and then we'll be going over the texturing stuff. Never done it? Okay. Okay, so we have a couple new people, that's fine. So, the Blender file you downloaded, you can just double click it and it should open you into this window. Alright. I hope you all joined through the Discord. If not, I would recommend joining. Okay, because in the Discord as well, on this channel here, that's where we share all the stuff. And if you scroll up a little bit, we have the concept in here as well from last time. And it'll be super useful. Whoop. Also put in my pure ref. I really don't know how to navigate Blender. Okay, that's fine. So let's start out with, okay, what is going on when we open this scene? Like, what is happening? If you never used the 3D software before, it might seem a little bit intimidating. And there's a lot of stuff on the screen, but a lot of it you will not need to know about right now. As you need it, you'll figure it out, right? So let's just focus on the stuff that is essential, okay? I've used CAD, okay. I also used CAD before I started using Blender actually. So very basics. Down here in the bottom left, you see I have a little icon. And on that icon, you can see the stuff that I'm pressing, okay? So A, B, C, oh, there you go. Okay, let's not. Oh no. Okay, there we go. Let me not destroy my Blender before we even get started. So, basic navigation for you all. Middle mouse to orbit. Okay. And feel free to play around with stuff as you figure it out. You can always reload the scene. You won't destroy anything unless you start saving on top of it, okay? So middle mouse to orbit. Shift plus middle mouse to pan around. And scroll on your middle mouse wheel to go in and out, okay? So you just get used to these keys in combination with each other, and you'll be able to move around the scene like pretty damn fast, okay? You can also do like a control plus middle mouse to do a different kind of zoom. Okay, but usually I just scroll on the mouse wheel. Alright, and then some quick tips for the modeling. Modeling we did last week, so I would recommend going back and watching that. But just so you know, basics, this in here is our viewport, right? So this is where our scene happens. Everything that we do in Blender we can kind of see right here in the 3D viewport. Okay, to the left here you have some tools like move, rotate, scale. You can select different things in the scene and you can move them around, rotate them or scale them, okay? And we use these in combination with each other and some tools last time to build the whole scene. And we might use a little bit of that today as well. If you ever get lost and need to select something, you can select it out here on the left in this list called the outliner. Okay, so if you need to select the camera, you can select that here, all of that good stuff. Okay, super basic. So for everybody else, from this point onwards, let's try to get into the texture. And I hope basic navigation and stuff will come as you all like go along with this. And if something seems confusing, or if I skip over something that you might not know, feel free to ask in the chat, type it out. If you have a question, there's probably a couple other people with the same question as well, so you're just doing everybody a favor. Okay, so the scene right now is a little bit messy, because we have a bunch of lights in here. We can actually do something nice in Blender. The top right, we have a selectability and visibility menu. We can go in here and we can hide the lights. Oops, right there. Those are some we put in last time. So we can actually just go in and we can hide those. Okay, so we kind of have a clean scene. Alright. Oh, and also, if you weren't there last time, you can switch to the rendered view up here in the right. Okay. And so if we want to see our lights, we can turn them back on like this, okay? So up here, top right, rendered view, and then you need to turn on the lights. So this is the setup we made last time. Okay. Yes, this live stream will be saved. All the live streams are saved on the YouTube channel after I'm done recording. So you can watch everything right there as well. And if you have questions about it, even after I'm done streaming, just type on the Discord channel. I'm always active on Discord. I'll answer as many questions as I possibly can. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit. Let's have a lecture, all right? Let's have a lecture. So I'll be doing some talking. Professor Onue, you can call me that. So essentially, I need to explain a little bit about what is a material in 3D for all of this to make sense, okay? Because there's a certain type of logic, and it really helps to understand that once you get into texturing in 3D, all right? So let me full screen right now. It's a simple concept, but it helps to understand it. So everything in 3D needs to be lit up, okay? So if there's no light on something, you can't see it. And everything in 3D also has to have a material. So what is a material in 3D? Well, it's just the same as real life. It seems kind of obvious, but it helps to understand it. So some things are shiny, some things are matte. Every single object has like different properties of the surface, which is different from when we're modeling something, right? You can model the shape of a hat, but now we have to determine what does that hat look like? What is the color? What is the level of shininess and all that, right? So if we go back into our scene, we can select any object in here and we can add what's called a material. And that's what we need to do before we can start painting, okay? Why the viewport shading setting has the model translucent? It really should not. So if you go to the viewport shading and you turn on the lights, it's still translucent. If you do have a problem, it's very helpful to me as well, because sometimes it can be hard to understand what's going on. If you post a screenshot on it on the 3D Bootcamp Discord channel, it will be easier for me to problem shoot if there's something going on there. Okay. Alright, so to add a material, it's very simple. Invite, yes, I got you. It should be in the description of the live stream. I'll put it in here as well. Whoop. There you go. So take a screenshot, post it in there, and I'll be able to tell. All right. So let's say we want to have a texture on this chair right here. We can go in on the toolbar here. So these are like the more complex options that we have inside Blender, and these change for each object that we select in the scene, okay? So if we select the top of our chair here, we can give this top a new material. So we add a material to it, okay? That's the first step. And on this material, we have a bunch of properties that we can now adjust. We can't see anything right now because we're basically in the 3D editing mode, right? So we're not seeing anything. But as soon as we put some light on it, we can actually start to change these properties and we'll see some change happening. So we can make it more or less shiny. We can give it a metallic surface and all that. And maybe this will be more obvious on something that's in the light up here. So I can go in, change it to green. So less rough is basically more shiny. You can imagine from real life, if you run your fingers across something that's rough, it'll be not that shiny. Okay. So that's the basics of what is a material, right? And already at this point, we could go ahead. So if we go back to Eevee, we get like a quick preview. So up here, there's a render option and you can switch it to Eevee. You could also go to this middle viewport shading here and you should be able to see stuff. Okay. So at this point, we can go through the scene and we can sort of select the things that we want to give a base material, right? So this chair, if you remember from last time, we can hold Shift, select multiple objects, and then click Ctrl+J to combine them together. Okay, and now this whole chair has one material. And we can go look at our reference to eyeball what the color is supposed to be. Okay. And keep in mind that it's a little bit dark, that's okay. So we can go here and see. So we don't want it to be metallic. So we can go ahead and pick a color for that. And then we can go to the other chair. Combine that together. Now we could give these chairs both the same material, but let's not for now. A little bit of variation is very nice too. And we might texture them separately too. So this just makes it a little bit easier for us. Okay. If you wanted to give them the same material, you could call one chair material right here. And then when you select the other chair, you can just pick the material that you want. Okay. So if you need the same material on a bunch of things, you can just do that. Okay. So if your flowers are not combined, I would recommend doing that. We actually gave these flowers a material last time already, so those are good to go. We can start working on the bowls perhaps. So let's combine the bowls together. And it looks like the bowls and the chopsticks are made of the same material, so it's probably some kind of lacquerware. So we can actually shift select all of them, combine them together, delete the screen material that we put before, and we can put a new one in and make it black and pretty shiny. Okay, so not that rough, pretty shiny. We're already starting to get some color on there, and it's already looking a lot better. It's pretty exciting. Where do I add the material? Alright, so let's say we wanted to add a material to this outside casing, right? So you have the menu in here that changes for each object that you select, okay? So right now, we can go to the material tab of this object and then add a new material right here. Oh, I realized my camera is actually hiding. So there's a little ball down here that you see. It's called the material tab. You select it, and then you can add a new material right here, okay? And so we can change it to this kind of dark brown here. And I would imagine these planks to be a little bit shiny as well, okay? So we can go with that. There's a little ball here that's hidden behind my camera. I hope you caught that. We can add some kind of metallic material up here maybe. That would be sort of exciting a little bit. So we can actually make it a little bit metallic. So these kind of metallicness and roughness, right? They will show a lot better as soon as you switch back to Cycles. So Cycles is a little bit better at calculating all these things, but also it's a bit heavier on the PC to run. So it might be nicer to work in Eevee until you're ready to get your final image out. Okay. So let's see, what else do we have here? We can give this these stone plates here, we can give them a material. So we can combine them and add like a stone plate type of material. Stone plate. And then that will be very rough, right? You can imagine this kind of stony surface. So you can see the difference between these two materials. This one is very shiny, and then this one is very matte. Okay, those are the kind of things that you should keep out for right now. This whole box, we can combine them together. So while I'm doing this, you don't have to do it in the same order that I'm doing it. You can also go in the outliner, for example, and then shift select down your hierarchy. But that might select other things too. If I order things properly, you should be able to find, yep, this cube here, and then shift select down. Or you can also just shift select in the viewport. Is that so, Sarah? Oh, let's see. CET time. So CET time should be right now, 8 p.m. Sorry about that, Sarah. You can still join in. Have you ever opened Blender before, or are you completely new? There's a file in the as a pinned comment and also in the description. Alright. So I guess you're in the UK maybe, or like Netherlands, something like that, or somewhere close. France, perchance. So yeah, just go ahead, go through the scene, and we pick some colors for the stuff, and it's already looking very, very nice. All right, so we could call this thing like dark wood. Catch up later. UK. All right. So if you have questions about it, feel free to use the Discord channel, and I'll answer, because I'm always active on there. Well, I'll answer as soon as I can, at least. Okay, this pot here, we make a pot type material. And you know, you don't really have to follow the reference 100%. It's sort of up to your own interpretation. If we have time for it, we might even do some extra little models here. So we delete this one. There was already a material on there. We don't want that. Stone. This border here, we can combine that. Control J to combine stuff. And we make this kind of like a beige wood. And I'm making sure to like put a new material on stuff that is sort of separate to each other, right? I could put the same chair material on this border if I really wanted to, but it'll give us a bit of issues later when we start texturing, because each sort of object has to have its own texture. We'll go over all that, don't worry about it. So all of these, we can actually combine those together. But we could also, and this will make sense a little bit later, and I'll go over that again. So, what should we call it? Paper thing? I'm not really sure what this is called. We can give all of these the paper thing material. Is joining like grouping in SketchUp. So in Blender there's objects, right? So at a base level there's different objects, okay? So each of these planes right now are different objects, okay? So you could take all these objects and you could group them together, okay? So you could make a new collection, or you can join them together. So each object, you can actually go in and you can edit the mesh, right? So if you take all of these and join them together, they're not grouped, they literally become the same object. So if I go into the object mode, I'll actually be editing all of them at the same time, because Blender now reads them as one collected object, okay? They're not grouped. You can also parent, Control P to parent, and now this is a chain, a hierarchy, and if you move the highest one in the hierarchy, all the children will move with it. Okay, hope that answers the question. If you need a follow-up, just let me know. Okay, so with that, what happens when we have an object and there's multiple materials on it? Oh no, we can't just go in here and add a material. Let's try. We can call this one gold. Okay, we can make it metallic, so like that. If we want to add a second material and call it paper, we can make it red. Oh, nothing happens because Blender by default will take the highest priority up here. Okay, so what we need to do instead is we need to go into edit mode, and this will be easier if you followed along last time, but don't worry, for the people that didn't, I'll take you through it. Up here in the top left, there's different modes. For now, we just need to go into edit mode. You can select corners, edges, or faces here. And we just need to go to the face mode, face select mode, and then we can left click places on the object, and then we can assign a material to that place, okay? So I can select those faces, tab to go in and out, and I can select those faces and then click assign on a specific material, okay? So you can select one face and then you can control click around and it will kind of go all the way over to your new selection. You can also box select, so B, or yeah, just B, go around. You can select that way. So just make sure you select all of them and then go to your paper material and then click assign. That's how you do that. It's probably gonna be the most complex thing that we're gonna need to do here. Maybe these eggs, they also need 2 different ones, right? You can click C and then you get this little selection thing in the edit mode. So first of all, we make a new material and we just call this basically the egg white. Then we make another material. Call this one yolk. Can make it yellow. And then with our selection, we click assign. IQR. I don't know. Where did you read IQR or CIQR? I'm not familiar with that term. I'm sorry. So we can make a new material here. We can make another new material and then just search for yolk. Click C to get this little thing out. And assign. IQR under roughness. Okay, let's see. So if we hover over it, does it give us a hint? I'm not sure what IQR. Oh, IOR. Hold up. Yeah, okay, so index of refraction. That's like a pretty complex material property. I do not use it often, if ever. But, I mean, there's a bunch of, yep, it's for refraction, right? So, I guess if you need a glass type material, that would matter a lot, I think. But we won't be using any of that today, so no need to worry. So, same here as we did with the planks. You can go in the outliner here and find the top circle. And then hold shift and select all the way down to the bottom circle. There's one more missing. Okay, and then click Ctrl J to join them all together. Call this one Spring Onion. Spring Onion. There we go. Give it sort of like a pale green, a little bit fresh color. And spring onion then can be a little bit shiny actually, that's fine. We can make a meat material. Meat. Okay. Can make this one a little bit red here. We can move on to painting a little bit soon. Because might be over the whole coolness factor of just being able to apply color to your stuff. All of these are meat. So we can go in and apply meat to all of them. And for the people with the tablet, just know that right now I am definitely not using the tablet. Just using the mouse for now. And then once I start texturing, that's when I'll switch over. So we can make a noodle material here. How's it going for people? Is it making sense so far? I know it's pretty basic, but you know, really a lot of the things in here are pretty basic. Yes, so on the outliner out here, you should have a bunch of circles. You can just shift select down. So you go from the first circle to the last circle, shift select. And then you click Ctrl J to combine them all together. It's fast, but it's a good crash course. Okay, I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'll give everybody a second to catch up. If you do have questions, now is a great time. In a second, I'll be moving on to the more painterly part of this little bootcamp. Alright. Hope you've all been able to get some basic colors on your stuff. It doesn't need to be perfect yet. Like I didn't color any of this here. We can make a material for the pole. Okay, so now if you like to paint, this might be exciting, but that's basically what we'll be moving over to. So the question is, where should we start with the painting? I think these right here, they're fantastic, what you say, beginning point to kind of understand how painting works in 3D, okay? So first of all, we need to give this little fish flag here a material, okay? So what we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be painting the base color, okay? So what does that mean? Like, we have these properties here. We can make it rough or not rough and all that, and we can give it a color. But what we want to do is we don't want to give it just a flat, solid color. We don't want to paint all of it blue. We want some of it to be blue and some of it to be white, right? So what we need to do is give it a custom base color. So in 3D, how you do that is you paint an image on like a file, just like a normal PNG or JPEG image file that you have on your PC, and you tell Blender, hey, use this image that I've made as your base color, put it on the object in the scene. Okay, so that could be any type of image. You could put an image of your dog or your cat or your whatever, your house on here, and it would be able to read it, okay? And that would override the base color. But we can also paint an image ourselves inside Blender. But before we do that, we have to tell Blender, okay, if I make this image file, where is what on my 3D model? So if I import an image file of my dog, well, does the face of my dog go here? Does it go here? Does it go, where does it go, right? So that's what we have to tell Blender. And a good way to sort of think about it is the good old UV Santa Claus, okay? So in order, like, you have to sort of plan out once you make this foil, right? Imagine this was a texture or an image file on our PC. We have to know that the face that we painted on our image file goes right here on a 3D model. You know, we don't want the face to be underneath him or on his feet or something weird, right? So that's what we have to do in Blender as well. We have to do a little bit of pre-planning, okay? So to do that, you click the object that we want to UV unwrap. That's what this whole planning phase is called. And you go to UV editing. Okay? So you can select the whole object that you have. And you can click U. And then you click Smart UV Project. Okay? So you can also click it on the menu up here. Click. And then Smart UV Project, right? Boom. And now you see here, you can kind of see the 3D model. So this would be the head of it. That would be down here on our image. You can imagine this would be an image file from your PC that we can import in. So if you have a dog image, it's like head here, feet here. Then the feet would basically go on the head of a fish, okay? That's sort of a very crash course or a very quick sort of explanation of all that's to do with this whole planning stage of it. But we don't really need more than that right now. So now we did the planning. We just clicked U, Smart UV Project, okay? And now we can go into the texture paint mode. And now we should be able to paint. But first we need to make an image file on our PC that we want to paint onto. So you go to the texture slot and add a base color image file. And then we can select how big do we want this image file to be. What do we want to fill the image color with? Okay, so we can just start with a white here. Sort of neutral white. Click OK. So now we have an image file that we can actually go ahead and paint on with our brushes. So if we can select the blue brush and we can start to paint and it will actually show up. If we go back to our layout, and you'll see that it actually pops up that easy. Alright, so that's how we set up painting inside of Blender. And now we just need our reference to do a good job. And this is where the tablet comes in super handy. Alright, you can also do this with the lighting if you feel like it. You just go same as always, viewport shading up here. So you see with the tablet, I can use the pressure sensitivity. So I can paint very light, or I can paint very harsh. So the update's a little bit slow because we're in the shading mode. If you don't want that, you can just go here and it'll update very fast. Alright. So I'm leaning over a lot. So this will be a little bit difficult, but I'll do my best, okay? So I can already tell you all that X, by the way, X switches your color palette. You can go here and you can select this color if you need to. It can be a little bit hard because there's a bunch of shading on here. So if you need to, you can click this little drop down and select flat. Okay, so that basically gives you the flat color without any shading, without any lights. If you need to color pick something. F to increase or decrease your brush size on the fly. You also have all your options up here as well if you don't like to use hotkeys. You can also texture paint over on the other side. Okay, and it will show up. So you can kind of see how that planning phase works, right? It knows where on our image this part will be on the 3D model. And then once we're done with all this, we'll save this as a literal image file on your computer that you could open with Photoshop or whatever, and you could edit it in there if you wanted to. So let's go ahead and select a color that's a little bit more in line with what we see on the reference. There we go, and we can start to paint a little bit. Okay, we don't need to be super careful about it, right? We're just doing a chill little stream. So you can also click X to kind of erase with that color. And then we can go in and we can sort of get the shape. Okay, let's just say it something like this. And we can always come back as well. You know, once you get a little bit more of the scene done, you can always come back to these. I hope this is working for everybody. This is sort of a very fun process. I do like this as well. It's also something that I do strive to get a lot better at. You know, there's great painters that have been painting for many years. I wouldn't exactly call myself a master painter, but I'm trying to learn. And we can all do this together, right? So here we go. And we can do the scales in the back. So just figure out sort of where they go. Something like this. Fill it in. And we don't need to take this thing to a finish right away. There's no point in that really. We just take it to sort of like a stage where we can leave it for now. And then we can go on and work on the rest of our scene. But of course, feel free to work however it is that you feel like you want to work. This is not like a strict one-to-one type of course. You can go ahead, speed ahead, or go back, whatever it is that you need to do. Okay, you can go in with a black brush. I hope this process made sense for people. So that might be way too, what's it called? A little bit too low on the value. It looked a bit too harsh on there. Still too harsh, wow. Okay, so we have a little fish dude here. The eye needs to be bigger, does it not? I promised myself I'll try not to be too nitpicky about stuff on the stream. But the eye does have to be a little bit bigger, huh? Having trouble selecting the plane to paint on. Can you take it step by step? Yes, of course I can. Let me just draw in this eye real quick. And then I'll take you through the whole process on the next little flag that we have. Okay. All right, so let's go through the whole process again, right? You're probably in the layout mode. So if you can't select the plane, couple things. You could be in edit mode somewhere else and you're not able to select that. So you gotta go back out into object mode and select it. So see if that works. So you just need to left click it. You go into UV editing mode. You click A to select all of it, or just drag out a rectangle and select it all. Then you click U. Smart UV project. So U, Smart UV project, or you can use the menu up here. So I switched to the UV editing mode at the top here, you see. U, Smart UV project, and then you get this kind of pattern. Okay. Then we need to add a material to our object. So I just switched back out of editing mode. Could do this in editing mode too, it doesn't matter. Okay, then after we've added a material, go to the texture paint tab. Okay, and in the texture paint tab, we need to create an image file for our material. So we click texture slots, and then we click the little plus here, and we select base color. Then we can select the color for the fill, and then we just click OK. So let me know if that worked. Now we should be able to paint. And you know, it's totally fine if something didn't go as planned on the way. That's why we do it live, so you can keep asking questions. Don't be shy, it's totally fine. I'm more than happy to help. If you want to navigate with your tablet, what you do is you basically use this bottom button here instead of your middle mouse. Okay. So exact same thing, orbit on that, and then shift plus that is panning. And then control plus that is zooming in and out. We'll just make it quick for now. Oops. So you can go here, the flat color is selected, you can actually color pick here the correct color. Okay. Okay, X to switch them around, lower the value a little bit. Not so dark, just a little bit. There's a bunch of brush smoothing options I should probably use. Okay, here's the ref if you need it. Now I'm not gonna go in and paint all these scales one by one. Surely that would take too long. So I'll just do like a basic version. Okay. And keep in mind, everything always looks better as soon as you get the lights on there. It looks kind of cute. Painting with a mouse is super hard. It's a little bit difficult, yeah, definitely. Especially if you have to do some kind of motive or something like that. But you know, if you just need to put down some simple color on a chair or something like that, then it becomes a little bit more doable for sure. These eyes are kind of goofy, huh? A little bit creepy almost, but it's fine. It is fine. It's all for learning purposes, everybody. It doesn't have to be our finest work. We're trying to learn here. I forgot my tablet at school. Okay, managed to get the UV mapping right. How did I add a custom texture so my painting shows up? Alright, great question. We'll totally be going over that here, so let's just do it one more time. So if you set up your UVs here, selected all of it, UV unwrap, Smart UV project. You now go to your texture painting tab up here. There's a tab up here called texture slots. Click it, and then you want to add a new base color texture. And then you can select the settings for it here. You could even copy paste, let's say, well, I want this color to be filled here. You don't need to do that. And then you just click OK, and now you've made a new image file that you can use to paint on. So I'll be going back to this little fella here, texture paint. So if I want to paint a border around it, I could go here and try to paint it. That might be a little bit annoying. So another thing I could do is actually go over here on the other side, because I feel like that might be a little bit easier. Darken it a little bit, and I can actually just go ahead and like sort of paint around it here. It just gives it a little bit more finesse. Not that this drawing or paint job I should say, is anything close to finesse, but it's just to get the point across. So could go in here and everything that spills over the edge is not gonna show up anywhere, so that's fine. So now you kind of get that outline on it. It's a little bit cute. Nice. Is there any way to work with images as layers though? Native Blender, no add-on. I don't know if there is a native way to do that in Blender. I mean, there is, but it's a little bit complicated. There's a great plugin though for it called Yuku Paint if you do need that. Any type of more complicated texturing work, I usually use a different software, but for this kind of stuff, Blender is fine natively. Okay, so we can go in, paint a little bit on our guy here. So again, F to change the brush size. Can give him some eyebrows. Okay, then we can go in with a little bit of a darker color and just give him the same type of border here. But yeah, for Blender there's a plugin called Yuku Paint, and it really adds a lot to sort of the layer functionality of the whole, if you're used to painting in like Photoshop or Clip Studio or something like that. Okay, you could also pull any of these images out into whatever software you're used to painting with, and edit them in there. So for this last one, we can select all of it, Smart UV Project. We don't even need to go into the UV editing mode. And then we can actually name this Blue Fish. Let's see, if we're lucky, this should work. Oops. We can go ahead and add Blue Fish here. There we go. Cute, cute, cute. Oh wait, the other fish is green. I'm gonna cheat. This is not part of the course, and I wouldn't even recommend doing what I'm doing here. But if you're a little bit technical and you like this kind of stuff, you can actually go in and you can see this sort of back end of what's happening. So we have our base color. This is our image file. The color of that is being piped into our material. And then we have our output. Don't worry, you don't need, this is not usually something I do on the whole stream and all that. So you don't need to follow along here if it seems like a bunch of crazy talk. But you can add nodes in here. So you can add a hue, saturation slider, and you can actually change the hue of this thing. So we can change the color. You see that? Pretty neat. So if we make a new material here, we can copy this one, paste it into this one. So we basically have a new material, call this one green fish. And we can change the hue of this one. We can lower the saturation a little bit, the value. Pretty cool, okay? If that made no sense, well, you can always paint it as well, okay? I just thought if there's someone here that kind of likes that technical stuff, might appreciate it a little bit. There's also stuff like brightness, contrast and all that, right? Yeah, I'm sure you get the point at this stage. Okay. Let's say we're happy with our multicolored fish. Let's keep moving, let's keep moving. So we can paint these little guys up here. about to ask just about that. Yeah, of course. If the fish is green, it's not fresh. It's a vegetarian fish. How about that? Plant-based fish, very fresh, straight off the farm. Alright, so let's move on to this paper thing here. So something cool to note here is that these all have the same material, right? So what that will enable us to do is we can select all of it here. Go to UV editing, Smart UV project. Okay, just basically get a square, texture paint, add a base color texture, you know, the whole thing. So once we start painting here, you will start to see some magic. So if we take our color, you see that will actually duplicate out to all of them because we gave them all the same material. Okay, so we can go in and try to paint this sort of circular pattern. Oops, what did I do? Okay, so a way to do this, we can change stuff about how our brush works. Like we could go in and manually paint all the lines, but that might take a while. I don't exactly want to do that. This track is a little bit strange. Hold up. Okay, so we could go in and we could paint all the circles. That'll probably not look that great. But I'm thinking about if we change the fall off, so how soft the brush is, to having no fall off, we might be able to do some cheeky stuff here. Okay. What's up, bro? Hello, welcome to the stream. Feel free to join, follow along. So if we open up our concept, we can actually go ahead and we can make these rings. So let's just look at where they pop up out here on the side. So we want, I don't know, let's say 2 rings maybe, or like 3.5. So something like this. Okay. We can go in with a little bit of a smaller brush here. So I mean, this is not like a very scientific method. It's just like a quick one I thought of just now. Remember F to change the brush size. If you want to draw your own pattern on here, like your own custom little drawing, feel free to, you know. You don't have to strictly follow the reference. So I'm just clicking X to switch the colors. Okay, then we go in with the second row. I've Smart UV projected the paper, but when I go to texture paint, I still get my fish painting. So it could be that you're using the same material on your fish painting and on your paper one. Okay, so to fix that, I can show you. Okay, so if I go here and I add my blue fish, so I can go here, blue fish. So if this one, if I don't have my paper thing, so I can actually delete this. You'll see that the blue fish appears, right? So what you need to do is make a new material and call it paper or whatever, and then you need to apply that. And if there's any other materials, you can use the little minus here to delete them. Okay, that's looking very nice. Very nice. Okay. No worries, jiggers. Alright, and we can move on to the lantern here. We could UV unwrap the whole thing. Okay. If we want to be economic about it, we can also choose to just unwrap the part that was selected, okay? So if you didn't change anything from last time, it should have only the red part selected. Because we don't really need to paint on the yellow part. That part is already fine. So we can just go ahead, select it, box selected. We can also click a material out here and then click the select button. Okay, I'm kind of in the way a little bit for that, so I'll show here. There's a select button. I can just move it up so you guys can actually see. Okay, and that will select the whole material, okay? And then you can click U, Smart UV Project. And now this thing is basically filling out the whole texture space. Okay, go to texture paint, click on the paper one, add a base color, maybe something like that, seems right. And then we can start painting. And it'll only paint on this one texture that we made, and won't paint over onto the gold. If you lose your paintbrush settings, there's the tool tab up here at the top. You can click that. And then we have to go ahead and paint. So let's start painting the thing in the back first, right? That seems to make sense. Just so the other things can overlap it. Okay, so it seems to be this kind of wavy pattern. So let's see what we have here. So we can also paint a little bit on here if we sort of do some mental gymnastics and figure out how it chose to unwrap this whole thing. Oh, that's not easy. Okay, so instead I'll just paint in the viewport. Don't forget the ref as well. So if your brush is very soft, basically what I did is I went into the fall off and selected constant, basically, so no fall off. If I put one of the other curves, it'll be a little bit like more brushy, but you can also select the constant fall off, okay? So it's just a line in there. Okay. Can make wave number 2. Actually, let's go ahead, pick a light color and make this little detail in there. So okay, let's try to stabilize our stroke a little bit. How about it? So if you go to stroke, there's this option called stabilize, and when you turn that on, your stroke will be more sort of clean, right? So we can go ahead and paint that. Let's make the orange wave. Going with a very small brush now with the white. Okay, last but not least, get the contrasty blue color. Sort of this little baby blue. It's gonna look very nice right here. We go in with the white. I just click X to switch the colors out. Very nice. We can paint some sakura flowers on there as well. It would be easier now to turn off the stabilized stroke. So 5 petals for this type of stylized sakura. Okay, we can paint a small one here as well. Maybe just put a little indication of one here. It doesn't have to be super. And maybe a one here on the other side too, just for good measure. Alright, then we can go in with a wider color. Paint in the center, maybe a little bit yellow, just so it's more visible. Okay, just dabble it in the center. Then we can also go ahead and make these stars. So, little trick if you're not used to painting, good way to think about it is you click, or a good trick is you can use the back. So you paint a line here and then you use the background color to sort of carve away at your stroke. Okay, and then you can get a shape. Remember, once you get the light on there, it'll look alright. Very cute. Okay. Is there anything crucial that needs texturing? So we are coming to, yeah, the meat definitely needs some texturing, huh? Okay, let's work on that then. So select that all. You can just select any of them, just like the top here, they're all using the same meat material. So if we start painting on any of them, they're all gonna get painted. So maybe let's paint on this one because it's the most visible. Smart UV project, just select all of it, click U. So go into edit mode, select all, click U. Texture paint, and we can add a meat texture here. Can select a background color. So now we get to decide how good is this cut of meat. Is it super marbled? Oh, whoops. So what's happening here, it looks like this one that we picked is actually a little bit different from the rest. So maybe we should give this one a different meat material. So meat toe. Me too. Then we can delete the other. And then we can actually just go on any of the other ones and start painting on that. Yeah. So see, all of these are reacting the same because they're like exactly the same object duplicated out. So we can go in and we can start painting some kind of fat cap. Same thing again, we go to the flat colored view and then we can color pick our background color. Then we can just click X to sort of carve away of what we've drawn. Okay. And then we can just paint in a little bit of sort of marbling. From a distance, I'd say that could look like meat from a distance. I think that definitely looks like meat from a distance, huh? And then this other one here can have its own little texture. Smart UV project. And you know, we can also turn this one around if we need to. So just click R to turn it around. I wonder if these in the back were supposed to be sushi. I might be very uncultured here. I don't know what's going on with this. We could, if we end up having time, we can make these into sushi as well. But right now it's a very meaty stand. We can also combine these cubes together. So we can sort of go through and see which one is the highest in the hierarchy. Then shift select down. Control J to combine them all together. I wonder what these are supposed to be. We can just give them a little bit of a shade. Could they be tofu? Something like that, maybe. A little bit of marbling here. Fat and meat is almost like these little lines. Oh, damn, that looks like an expensive cut of meat, huh? God damn. Wait a minute. Okay, and we can go in and we can fix up this material that we have up here for the sakura flowers. It seems a little bit dull right now. We can saturate it a little bit more. If we want to, we can also give it a little bit of subsurface scattering. Might look very good. So subsurface scattering is basically just making it kind of like a gel or something like that. So light can actually penetrate through it. I think we are nearing the end here as well. We got like 13 minutes or something like that, 15 minutes. So for the people out there, if you're new to the stream, I do love to check everybody's work at the end of the stream. So when you get the opportunity, take a screenshot of it and post it in here. It would make me so happy. This is some of the stuff that we did from last time as well. I'm just telling you this in advance. You don't have to do it right now, but kind of soon-ish. just so you all know. So the way I usually do it is I just go to the viewport shade mode. You can set up a camera if you want. I think I did set up one last time. Oh, but it's not really working. Okay, let's set up a camera since we're actually doing it. So we have a camera in this scene already here. Okay. We can rotate it and move it. So the rotation and move and all that is currently just very strictly X, Y, Z on the global axis. But if you go up here, click local, you can do it in terms of where the camera is. So you can move it up and down, left and right. You can also rotate it here. There's a little tab here with the rotations. So you can left click and drag here and you can move it up and down. Now you don't need to do any of this. You could just go with your viewport shade mode. I did this last time too. Click the little button up here, show overlays, and then they all disappear. And then you can just take a screenshot of what you see on the screen, right? But let's set up the camera just because we have a little bit of time. Okay. So you can rotate it so it fits. You can go into the camera options here. You can go into the output options. And I'm gonna make it into a square image. So the resolution will be 1920 by 1920. Okay, so it all fits in here. You can change your render settings. It's basically just the quality of your image. Usually the default is fine for what we need right now. Okay, so this is your res, and then you can go into your camera settings. So if you work with cameras before, some of the stuff might seem familiar, but you can change the focal length and stuff like that. You can move the camera away a little bit. I think I liked it before. The old focal length. There we go. You can move it in. You can turn the gizmos on and off here. Oops. There we go. We can rotate it a little bit. If you hold down shift, actually, never mind. It's fine. And we can add a bunch of camera effects that you might know. We can add depth of field, for example, so the focus. So with this little pipette here, the little eyedropper tool, we can click that and then we can select an object in the scene. So we can click the bowl, and now the camera should focus on the bowl. We can change the pass apart out here. So this basically just makes the edges black. Then this will be our final image. Can you start over with rendering an image for export again? Sorry, I missed it. Yes, of course. So usually the way I do it is I just go in the viewport here, and then at the top right you can disable all your overlays, and I just literally take a screenshot of that and post it on the Discord. That's how I usually go about it. But since we had some extra time, I thought I'd show you how to set up a camera. So there is a camera already in your scene, and you can click numpad 0 on your keyboard to focus in on that camera. Okay. Then you can rotate it and move it into place. If you change the transforms up here to local, it'll be a lot easier to rotate it, because you can see these are just like very strict X, Y, Z. But if you change it to local here, it's a little bit outside the lesson, but if you do change them, it'll follow the camera's rotation a little bit easier. You can go in here, and then with the little menu out here, you can rotate the way you want to figure out the best way to set it up for you. Numpad 0 to go in and out. You have all your options out here on the right side. For the output, you can change it to 1920 by 1920 to get a square image or whatever it is that you need. Okay. Back here in the camera, you can set the focal length, all the normal camera stuff, depth of field, all that. If you work with cameras before, you know these things. If not, that's fine too. You can change the f-stop a little bit. It's gonna make it more or less like able to focus. Okay, it seems it's not doing a very good job of focusing. So I'll just add a focus object here to that. We can search for it. It's just called empty. Now you don't need to follow everything I'm doing here. This is just to get like a little image out. And then once you're ready to render, you can go to the top left here and click render image, or just click F12. And if you do that, it's important to go out of the render mode here so your PC works faster. You can just click render image and you'll render an image from that camera. And see, it can take a while. It sort of depends on your settings and all that. Oh wow, it's not rendering all the images we just made. Okay, do not do that. Whatever I just did, do not do that. Oh. Is this a Blender bug? What happened? Okay, do not click F12, guys. It's important to save before you do that, because I guess it'll delete all your textures, so you need to remember to save your file. That is a little bit unfortunate. Oh. That is extremely unfortunate. I think it might have just deleted all the textures that we worked on. That's why it's so important to save. Oh, wow. Okay, well, I hope y'all didn't make that mistake. So I would just recommend going in your viewport, turning off the overlays and just taking a screenshot here. That really sucks. I thought it turned out really nice. I would have loved to have a screenshot of it, but I guess not today. It can be like that sometimes with 3D when you try new stuff. Okay, I'll be looking in the Discord for people. So feel free to post here. Damn, that hurts my soul. I'll just sit around for a little bit, guys. I'll try to take a screenshot of my stream and post that instead. If I can find a moment where just like... Okay. Very nice, Katrin. Yes, definitely. It is available on the YouTube channel. Oh, it's so nice, everybody. Good job. If you need a link to the Discord, I'll just put it here. Okay, hold up. So I'll look at them all in 1 second. As I'll say. Thank you all for joining tonight. Here. How far I got today on this boot camp. And then lesson of today. Remember to save often. So here's a low res. Okay. Let's look a little bit closer on all of these. This is really nice, Katrin. Good job. I like all the materials on there. I really like the sign, actually. That might be my favorite part. Yeah, Sarah, definitely. Next week. We're doing Unreal stuff next week. I like the sign. It's my favorite part for sure. I do like the lantern too. This tree is turning out really nice. It looks like all these planes could be replaced with like an alpha texture of a flower or something. Maybe you're planning that. I like this too. Very nice job, Katrin. These ones look funny. Mine look funny too. So this one is. You got a bunch of props in there. Fish and ramen. You even got this in the back too. The jar. It's really nice. Gotta try and catch up this weekend with modeling. Definitely, Jaegers. We do these every week, right? And then we cycle every 4th week. So you can catch up again. And then for the next cycle, you'll be experienced and you can make something even cooler than you've done today as well. It's really nice. So, which one is this? Jesse, is that you, Jaegers? So you got the colors on there and you see you started to paint a little. Yeah, it's the fish as well. Nice, good job, man. So that's all it was, right? I hope it kind of introduced you on like how to do this stuff inside Blender. It's really just an introduction you can do in 1.5 hours. So I'll... Oh wait, oh my god, I skipped past one. Hold up, I'll give both of these a heart. Yeah, and then you can keep working on this after the stream as well. So Umbrologica, who is that on the YouTube? Because this is looking really nice as well. You got the gold and the red. And I see you started painting a little... Wait, what is that? I gotta enhance... It looks like a little fish, dude. Oh, it's just like a big fish, dude. I see. That's cool. Idiot. Alright, nice job. I like your pattern on the thing too. You got some nice colors in there and everything. Beautifully done. And you can also keep working on this after the stream. Very nice. I hope it was also a good introduction to you. That's all it was meant to be. And then you can keep working on it. And you can watch the modeling thing, of course, too. And you can add some more stuff. Very nicely done. You get a heart from me as well. And there's my own one with the very low res. Oh. Oh well. That's how it can go. Okay, everybody. That's gonna be about it for me. Unless there's something. Oh yeah, Katrin, like Katrin is saying, so CADA, the school I go to, we're gonna be hosting an open house on January the 30th. So everybody is welcome. It's very nice. There's gonna be drinks and stuff, like cola and stuff like that, free drinks. So, and there's gonna be a presentation talking about the school, and you can ask people. You can even meet me. I'll be there. You can ask them stuff about the school if you're curious. And as for the bootcamp, we'll be back again next week, same time, same place. We'll be doing Unreal Engine stuff, so it's a bit different from Blender, but you can use your Blender knowledge in there as well. Alright, so before I sign off, a bit far for me to travel, but thanks, yeah. Of course, it's just an offer for the people that are interested in all that, you know, no pressure. Might try and swing by, yeah, definitely, I'll be there as well. There'll be some other student and then the staff, and they'll do a presentation about what the school is doing and all that, right? Okay, so for me, I'll be signing off, and I hope to see you all again next week. And if you did enjoy the stream, remember to just hit the like button somewhere under the video. It does help, and it helps my boss know that you guys actually enjoy the stream and I should keep doing this. My boss. Of course. And thank you all for joining as well, right? It's super cozy. I do enjoy doing these. So I'll see you all next week. Have a good rest of your evening and all that. Alright, bye bye.